Dave Ramsey can be a very polarizing figure. Some people think everything he does is right, some people think he's wrong, but in this video we're going to talk about 6 things that I think Dave Ramsey gets right. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Brandon Boyd Show. I'm Brandon Boyd. Again, I stayed up all night trying to think of the name. You can thank me later. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. It will help us continue to grow. And don't forget to be awesome and like this video as well. We really appreciate your support so far. In this video, we're going to talk about the 6 things that Dave Ramsey gets right. Now, if you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, he is all over the country on the radio. He has podcasts, his website. He teaches Financial Peace University. A lot of people think that he can do no wrong, and we've talked about that in the other video, which will be linked down in the description below. But there is quite a bit that he gets correct as well. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 6 things that I think that he gets correct. And as a Dave Ramsey follower for the last 10 years, I should know. I followed it quite a bit, and I can tell you he is right about quite a bit of things. So let's go. The first thing that I think Dave Ramsey gets right, above all else, is financial mindset. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Okay, what does that mean? I'm going to go through a few examples. He says, do not rely on the government to make your money and to make your living. Wow! What a crazy concept, right? Don't rely on other people. And if you've been watching TV for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe 20, 30, 50 years, there's a good reason you shouldn't rely on the government for your well-being. Have you seen the debates?
The radical left. Will you shut up, man? Listen.
Have you seen the arguments? The only thing these people do is argue with each other, and it takes forever to do anything. Do you want to sit there and honestly wait for those people to be dictating your financial well-being? Take your life into your own hands and make your own money. You can do it! Dave is spot on this, and I couldn't agree with him more. Don't rely on other people in general, whether it's the government or anybody. Go out and do it for yourself, so Dave is absolutely correct on this one. As far as mindset and behavior goes, he's also correct in that most of us know that 2 minus 3 is a negative number. If you don't, go online, there's schooling, you can go back and look at that if you want to. But most of us know the basic math of how we go into the negative and get in debt. What he focuses on is changing your behavior. If we all know the math and the math turns negative, it must mean that there's something else going on, and it's all because of behavior. We all know the math. Change your behavior and it won't happen. Pretty simple. So Dave is correct on that.
Simple.
And the final part when it comes to mindset in point number 1 is just believing that I deserve this. I work too hard. I deserve this $60,000 truck. I deserve it. It needs to be new and shiny. It needs a solar panel on top. I need chrome rims. I need everything in this truck. Baloney. You don't deserve jack. And Dave is absolutely correct on this one. The only thing that you need to survive, food, water, shelter, clothes, and transportation. Everything else is a luxury. Let's say you went to school and you went to become a doctor and you're $200,000 in debt. Does that mean that you deserve the $150,000 brand new Tesla Model X3R YZ?
No!
It doesn't. You don't deserve it. Look at your own finances, make smart decisions, and make sure that you take your finances seriously and don't think you deserve anything. The second thing that I think Dave Ramsey gets absolutely correct is debt repayment and his system for doing that. If you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, he teaches Financial Peace University, which has a baby step program, which essentially just lists 7 steps, one by one, in order for what you're supposed to do to get out of debt. It's really foolproof. If you are interested in getting out of debt, if you are smothering with bills and you don't know what to do with yourself, that is a great place to start. Follow his teachings step by step. And you will get there. I know from personal experience, at one time, we were $100,000 in debt. Yikes! We had student loans, we had cars, washer and dryer, a computer like the one I have behind me here. A ton of different things. We financed it. If we could finance it, we financed it. Next thing we knew, we were making money, but it was all going straight to the banks. We decided to do something about it and actually try to get out of debt. And lo and behold, we followed the 7 baby steps, all 7, got out of debt, saved a bunch of money, and now we have the flexibility to do a lot of different things that we've always wanted to do. But it started with that foundation of getting out of debt. When you're in debt constantly, when you go to the mailbox and you have that sense of dread on your face, like, oh, what bill is it going to be today? I can't do this. That's a good sign that it's time to get out of debt. and he has a great way, a systematic way to get out of debt, and I highly recommend following those baby steps if you find yourself in that situation. The third thing that Dave Ramsey gets correct is budgeting and structure. If you have never looked at your bank statements, if you've never done a budget before, you probably have no clue what I'm talking about.
What is going on?
Let me tell you this, when we first did our budget, there were some arguments when we figured out where we were spending our money. Most of it went to eating out and just frivolous things. Budget gives you structure in how you're spending your money. Dave, in particular, focuses on a zero-based budget. For those that don't know what a zero-based budget is, it's pretty simple. Let's say that it's October the 1st. On October the 1st, you make a line-by-line budget of where every single dollar that you anticipate coming in that month is gonna go. And I literally mean every single dollar. Dave even has an app called Every Dollar that is free online for you to use that uses the zero-based budget system. Zero-based budget doesn't mean you don't keep money in the bank. No, it simply means that every dollar has an assignment before the month ends. So if you struggle with money and you do not know where it's going, take a look at that. Make sure you use that app as well. It's the best app that I've seen so far when it comes to budgeting, but it basically is an accountability partner for you to say, okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and I have $500 left to budget based on my Every Dollar app on my phone. You can sit there and look at it in the store. Okay, well, I need to make smart choices.
Milk was a bad choice.
Maybe I don't need to buy the big balloon animals in the corner. I've only got $500 left. Maybe I need to use it for food.
That is correct.
It's an accountability partner, it's a great way to budget, and it adds some structure into your life if you're struggling with that right now. The fourth thing that Dave Ramsey gets right is retirement and long-term savings. If you go Google Dave Ramsey, if I go on here right now, Dave Ramsey retirement advice, you'll see everybody and their grandmother has some sort of blog that tells you what you should and shouldn't do with retirement, and a lot of them say, you know what, Dave is wrong. He's completely wrong. His advice on retirement is terrible. Baloney! I have followed this one actually to the letter. In his advice, he says that you should use 15% of your own money, no company match, 15% of your own money in retirement if you want to retire with dignity and be wealthy when you're ready to retire.
Sweet.
Totally.
I mean, the returns that we're seeing have been phenomenal. He invests in Roth IRAs. If you want to know a little bit more about Roth IRAs, because investing can be confusing, I'd love to make a video on that. If you want to see that, make sure you leave a comment down below. But he keeps it very, very simple when it comes to retirement. Put 15% of your own money in and put them in mutual funds. That's what we do. We put our retirement in mutual funds, and it helps diversify the investments over the course of time. And again, our channel is based on making smart decisions over the course of time that will lead to wealth and growth. This is perfect for that because all we do is follow his advice on this, and our returns have been fantastic. There's been some years where we're seeing 20, 30, almost 40% growth. Now, there are some years in there where there's only 1% to 2% growth, but it sure as heck gets offset by these monster years that we've had, especially over the last 10 years. If you would have invested money in the stock market, in Roth IRAs in particular, when the financial crisis occurred in 2008, and you just kept dumping money in left and right, and now you look at it, it's grown 3 to 4 times in size. Imagine if your money had grown 3 to 4 times what it was when you put it in, when everybody else was running around scared. You know what Dave Ramsey said? He said, keep investing. If you would have listened to that advice, you'd be killing it right now. Dave stuck with it. He always said to invest no matter if the market's up or down, and he is absolutely correct. It's paid dividends for us, and I guarantee it'll pay dividends for you as well. The fifth thing that Dave Ramsey gets correct is communication. If you are working towards any financial goal in your life, you have got to be able to communicate with your spouse or partner. Now, why do I have to talk to my spouse? Maybe they get on my nerves. I don't want to talk to them about everything.
I know we're supposed to be nice with each other right now, but I'm having a really hard time. I'm struggling with it right now.
Boy, if you do that, you're in big, big trouble. You have got to communicate with your spouse or partner in this if you want to be successful. Let me tell you why. First, if you decide that you're going to go gung-ho and have these big financial plans and you're going to get out of debt and you're going to budget, and your spouse is over in the corner bringing 15 bags home from Target full of decorations and all these clothes and everything, you're going to say, I don't like that. You're going to grow resentful. It's going to be a whole problem. Communication is key when you're trying to get out of debt or even build wealth in general. You want to make sure that you're talking to each other about your goals. You want to make sure that you set your budget together. And number 3, you want to make sure that you're accountable to each other. We share the money, and we make sure that we communicate on big purchases so that we're not surprised, we can continue to hit our goals, and everything's out on the table. It makes everything so much easier if you just communicate with one another. You can hold each other accountable, and overall, your plan will be stronger for having done all that. The sixth thing that Dave Ramsey gets correct is education. There's a lot to say here, but I'll try to break it down as quickly as I can. As you've seen in the news, if you've read any newspaper, any magazine, you turn on any cable news shows, if you're brave enough to do that, you'll see that there is a huge student loan debt crisis right now, and it's all self-inflicted. What he says is there are some ways to help mitigate your damages or just eliminate your debt for school in general. Number one is making sure that you apply for scholarships.
Thinking of trying out for a scholarship.
Right, there's not a scholarship for everybody, but there are often a lot of scholarships that are left on the table that nobody even applies for. Also, Dave recommends that you work while you're in school. Now, me personally, I think I played it pretty smart. I worked probably 30 hours a week while I was in school. I worked in the food court because I got free food. I was a tour guide on campus, which they gave you free polo shirts for, so I had clothes. Pretty smart, right? Plus, I get paid on top of that. So don't sit here and think, well, my grades are going to suffer. I'll never be able to make it if I'm working all the time. Baloney, because if you are working that much, you learn to prioritize your time and you don't spend 10 hours on a Wednesday playing Halo with all your dorm mates because you know, hey, I've got an 8-hour shift, I got classes, I got homework, I really got to prioritize my time. You start to prioritize your time, you start to value your free time, and you use it to better succeed while you're in school. The other part that I really like that Dave Ramsey focuses on is that he says don't take out loans that you're never going to be able to repay.
How can I ever repay you?
What does this mean? Basically means if you are going into a career that makes $40,000 or $50,000 a year, please do not take out student loans in $200,000, $250,000 increments. It's not smart. I know you may want the degree, but there's probably better choices. Make sure you go to an in-state school. Maybe go to a smaller school to where you don't have to pay fees for their $30 million workout facility that they have for students. Go somewhere else that's going to be more affordable. Otherwise, you are going to be in debt up to your eyeballs for the rest of the foreseeable future. And like I said in step number one, if you're waiting for the government to come in and sweep you off your feet, come on now. Come on. You made it this far in the video, you know that's a bad idea. And lastly, this is probably my favorite part when it comes to education, Dave Ramsey. He says, do not use college as an opportunity to have this magical experience like you are going to climb Mount Olympus and visit some Yoda type figure at the top of a mountain, and you're going to smoke peyote and, you know, live off the land, and you're going to stay there for 10 years and you're never going to graduate because you can't make up your mind.
Don't do it.
It's a terrible idea. This is not a finding yourself experience. You may do that along the way, but you know what? You're there to get a degree. You're there to get in and out, work with your college counselors on your goals, and they will help you get out in a reasonable time frame, even if you work. I worked 30 hours a week while I was in school. I magically was able to graduate with a 4-year business degree with 2 different majors and work 30 hours a week. How'd you do that, Brandon? Pretty simple. I worked, I prioritized my time, I worked with my counselors, and I got the heck out of there because it's expensive. By the time I graduated, tuition was double what it was when I first started in my freshman year. You think you can keep up with that and find yourself over the course of 7 or 8 years? You'll find yourself in debt up to your eyeballs, and you won't be able to breathe because you're smothering from panic attacks because you've stayed in there long enough to be a professor. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. So those are the 6 things that I think that Dave Ramsey gets right. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, help us continue to grow. Don't forget to be awesome and like the video. Dave Ramsey has a lot of great advice. Now, he has some things that I don't agree with, but overall, he's a pretty smart dude, right? He knows what he's talking about. That's why I put him on my bookshelf up here, because I think he knows what he's doing. I've got him on my bookshelf. I got him in another shelf somewhere else. I got his books scattered throughout my whole house. He's got a lot of great advice, and if you're trying to just figure out where to start in your journey, just go there. Come here first. Come to the Brandon Boyd Show first. You know that. Second, go to Dave Ramsey and see what he has to say. We've got a lot of great content coming up in the future. We cannot wait to share it with you. It's going to be really cool. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you soon.